happening now.
Another central New York community decides to ban smoking in public parks, and the developer proposes a coal gasification plant in Scriba. The 11 non-stop minutes start now.
Now, 11 non-stop minutes of news.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rod Wood. It could be very good news for naysayers in the town of DeWitt tonight. Plans to build a coal gasification plant there appear to be frozen now as the developer moves ahead with a similar plant in Oswego County. Transgas Energy wants to put the facility on Route 1A in Scriba, just east of the city of Oswego. It would go on the property of Novelis, a company that makes aluminum sheets and foil. News Channel 9's Kelly Quinn has more tonight.
To run an operation this big, Novelis needs natural gas, and a lot of it. They pay $30 million a year for it.
Finding a good, stable, price-certain source of natural gas is key to our business.
6 months ago, General Manager Buddy Stemple heard of the proposal to build a coal gasification plant in DeWitt. He thought it may be a solution for his company, so he called Transgas Energy.
The technology seemed to fit. So their choice now will be which project to move forward with. They've indicated that they're going to put this project on the front burner because there's a lot of synergies with Novelis as the kind of host site that don't exist in DeWitt.
Novelis owns 500 acres of land. Transgas Energy says they need about 40, and it doesn't have to be all in one spot. The problem is some of the land here is actually wetlands, so they have to do a study to figure out exactly where the plant could go.
If you go from the port of Oswego east, what you're going to find is a lot of vacant land. You'll find Novelis, you'll find 3 nuclear plants, and you'll find Scythe Energy. So it's an area that is really accustomed to having industrial sites around.
A pipeline would run directly into Novelis, but there'll be plenty of natural gas to go around.
We're going to use only a portion of the output of this plant, and it will offset other coal burning or oil burning facilities in the state of New York.
It's very important to note tonight and to remind you that the plan to build a plant in DeWitt has not been scrapped. It is merely on the back burner at this point. We spoke with DeWitt lawmakers today who say they are still against the plan, and they are hoping that the Scriba one replaces the DeWitt one. Rod, back to you.
Kelly, thanks. Novelis hopes to start the permit process in July. 6 to 9 months later, construction could begin. The goal is to have the coal plant open by 2010. Construction will bring 1,500 jobs, and the plant would employ 150 to 200 people. It was just over a month ago Onondaga County banned smoking at parks and other county-owned public areas. Well, tonight, the city of Oneida is following suit. The City Council unanimously approved a measure to ban smoking in all public parks and recreational areas. If someone is caught smoking on parkland, police will have the power to ask them to leave. If they refuse, they can be ticketed for trespassing. During a Little League game at Maxwell Field, some parents liked the law, others did not.
No.
We try to stay away from the kids as much as possible, be responsible. You know, it's so anytime there's activities going on that we come to watch our kids play. Yeah, it's a bad habit, but it gives us a spot where we can go and smoke and be away from the kids.
The kids aren't as exposed to it. If they don't see you the smoking and where they're playing and where their activities are, it's a good thing.
Signs notifying people of the new law will be posted sometime during the next few weeks. Well, the temperature dropped nearly 20 degrees in just 3 hours today, and it looks like we're in for another cool day tomorrow. Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Dave Eichhorn is in now with a preview of our forecast.
Well, Rod, I stepped out for dinner a little while ago and stepped right back in again and got my jacket. The temperature has dropped a lot. Here's what you can expect tomorrow morning. Cooler weather than we've seen in a while. Temperatures climbing out of the 40s, maybe even a leftover shower in the morning, although skies will brighten during the afternoon, and by noon we should be up to about 59 degrees. But just to show you how fast things are going to turn around again, 63 for a high tomorrow. Well, 75 to 80 Thursday, let's call it that. But we're pretty sure 90 or better for Friday, possibly tying the record of 94 set back in 2005. Coming up in just a bit, we'll talk about how long that heat coming up Friday is going to last and what it means for this coming weekend. Rod?
Dave, thanks. Now from weather to a Syracuse traffic alert that could impact your commute to or from work through the rest of this week. The DOT says the I-690 eastbound ramp to I-81 southbound is closed for repairs, and it will stay closed for just about 1 week. There is a detour in place from West Street to Shannard Street, then to Adams Street and back on 81 South. Hundreds of National Grid customers who live near Lemoyne College will need to make sure they've got batteries in their alarm clocks tomorrow night. The power company says it needs to do some urgent upgrades that require shutting off power in the neighborhood. The affected area runs from Audubon Parkway east to Thompson Road and from Springfield Road south to East Genesee Street. The outage is scheduled to take place during early Thursday morning between 3:15 and 6 a.m. The man in charge of Vernon Downs and Tioga Downs says one or both of the tracks may be forced to fold unless they get some help from state lawmakers. President Bob Farinella says Tioga Downs has yet to turn a profit, and he's not sure how much longer his company can keep investing in the track. He told our sister station in Elmira that it's tough to draw people in because state law limits how much of a Racino's budget can be used for advertising.
If you look at the gaming industry across the United States, you'll see that casinos generally invest from 13 to 20% in marketing. So at 8%, we're really low on the totem pole, and so we have recommended that that be increased to a 10%. They'll be allowed more free things, and you could go out to your customers and offer them more free meals, more free play, more free shows and concerts.
Now, if the bill becomes law, it would also lower the tax rate levied against Racino's, giving Tioga Downs and Vernon Downs better odds at becoming profitable. But State Senator George Winter out of Elmira says he's not sure if a vote will happen before the legislative session ends later this month. The Oswego County teen who accidentally shot and killed his girlfriend pleaded guilty in court today. Alexander Cushman admitted he was careless in handling a shotgun that went off, killing his girlfriend, Nikki Smith. The plea deal eliminates a manslaughter charge, but Cushman will be sentenced for criminally negligent homicide. He will also be granted youthful offender status, keeping the case sealed, and the conviction will be erased from his record. The Syracuse woman accused in the stabbing death of a local teen remains locked up on $10,000 bail. Michelle Cormier was arraigned this morning on a manslaughter charge. She's accused of stabbing 15-year-old Kyle Bradbury last month. Witnesses say the two were arguing after he made some derogatory comments. It happened outside of a North Side market at the corner of First North and Wolf Streets. In Tompkins County tonight, a woman accused of drowning her niece has been charged with murder now. Police say Marie Manos held her 2-year-old niece underwater in a bathtub while babysitting the little girl in a home in Dryden. Manos was first charged with assault, but the district attorney upgraded those charges to second-degree murder, as well as aggravated sexual abuse. The DA says the child was assaulted at the time she was drowned. 2 men from Fulton are under arrest after police there say they are the ones responsible for a number of graffiti incidents around the city. Symbols like these, referring to a Utica street gang, have been showing up on bridges and buildings, including the high school. 19-year-old Douglas Bedford and 18-year-old Ronald Kimball Jr., both from Fulton, will appear in city court later this month. They're accused of causing more than $1,200 in damages. Covering America tonight, the Republican candidates for president criticized many of President Bush's policies during a debate in New Hampshire tonight. The topics ranged from the fight for Iraq to immigration reform. Of all the candidates taking part tonight, Senator John McCain was the only person who spoke in support of the immigration reform bill currently sitting before Congress. White House aide Louis Scooter Libby will spend 30 months in federal prison for lying and obstructing the CIA leak investigation. President Bush, hearing the news aboard Air Force One en route to Germany today, said he feels terrible for Libby's family. He did not, though, comment on the possibility of a pardon. New York City's 3 major airports hold the distinction of being the worst in the nation when it comes to on-time performance in the first quarter of 2007. The U.S. Department of Transportation says JFK, Newark, Liberty, and LaGuardia airports had more delays and cancellations than any other airports in the country. About 40% of the problems were weather-related, many caused by the February ice storm that grounded thousands of flights. News Channel 9's Nancy Duffy is being honored at this hour as a woman of distinction during a reception in our state's capital. Senator John DeFrancisco accepted the award on Nancy's behalf tonight as the Senate honored her achievements as a pioneer in journalism and for her passion for life. Outside of the newsroom, Nancy was well known for founding the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade here in Syracuse. She passed away this past December from a long-term illness. The Senate in Albany also honored several other women tonight. Each honoree's photograph and biography is on display at a special exhibit in Albany.
Coming up in sports, Section 3 sees two of its teams advance on to the state semifinals in boys lacrosse. Jamesville DeWitt won big this afternoon. West Genesee followed suit tonight. Another convincing win for the top-ranked Wildcats. They dominate Vestal 14-2. Both Jenny and JD will next play Thursday at St. John Fisher College in Rochester. CBA, however, sees its season come to an end. Complete highlights and reaction on the way later on in sports.
Also ahead tonight, leaders of the world superpowers are gathering for the G8 summit starting tomorrow. We'll get a look at the place where it's all happening. Plus, why the sons of Princess Diana are asking a British TV network to change its mind about a documentary focused on their mother's final moments. And next, more local news, including it's an awful sight and smell along Skaneateles Lake, why it's happening, and what the DEC is doing about it.
The forecast where you live from the News Channel 9 Storm Team.
All right, well, we went through one quick downward turn in temperature, and we're about to turn everything around the opposite direction just as quickly in the matter of the next, 24, 36 hours. Let's take a look at the numbers for the day today. 61 after a low of 46, and we're cooling down fairly quickly, although some clouds are now starting to move in from the north and west, and so 40s will about do it for tonight. Temperature this last hour, 52. Barometer still rising, the wind light out of the west at about 3 miles per hour. Here's what's upwind of us, and the reason why this is important, even though it's not that extreme, a lot of these places that got into the very upper 80s and very low 90s from the mid-Atlantic all the way through the Mississippi Valley were only in the 70s yesterday. So it just kind of gives you an idea as to how this thing is not only enlarging but heating up as it does so. And I'm talking about this very warm air mass, and that is what is getting ready to move our way. All we need is a southwest wind to do the job, and that is soon to happen. Now, in advance of the warm air, clouds are beginning to break out, and that's often the case. As the warm air starts to push north, it lifts up and over the cooler air that it's trying to move into, and that's what's creating this cloud shield. And some of those clouds have already streaked southeastward across the Syracuse area. The main part of this here will probably move over us during the first half of the day tomorrow, but it'll be sort of lifting north and east as it does so, and that's why I think we've got a real good chance to get some breaks in the clouds later in the day. And then just behind that is the heat. There's a small channel of moisture in the heat coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico, not producing much in the way of rain. The real thunderstorms are way back over to Nebraska. So there is the size of the tropical air mass starting to move our way. Now you're going to see the results of that. First, in terms of cloud cover. Again, starting this timecast as we showed you earlier this evening, doing a good job picking up on those clouds moving in over us tonight. They are in advance of that surge of warm tropical air coming our way, which by noon tomorrow should be just west of Jamestown, New York. And then tomorrow evening, things keep moving. And we think the warm front, the leading edge to that air mass, should be very close to the Syracuse area by 8 o'clock in the evening. Back behind it, temperatures climbing rapidly through the 80s. I wouldn't be surprised if low 90s got as close to us as southern Ohio later in the day tomorrow. And then it's all going to come our way. For the rest of tonight, increasing clouds, temperatures falling just a little bit more before stopping, and then tomorrow morning we'll already be on our way up, probably in the upper 50s with a good deal of cloud cover, and with the anticipation of that cloudiness moving out of here tomorrow afternoon, a high temperature of 78 degrees. Just a few clouds around tomorrow night, but note the overnight low. I think what's going to happen is we'll dip early in the night, and then later tomorrow night the temperature will actually start rising as those south winds begin to pick up. So an average temperature tomorrow night of 65. 94 degrees Friday. A thunderstorm possible later in the day. That would tie the record, by the way. And then Saturday, new cooler air from the northern plains comes in, but still low to mid 70s, and winds settling down later in the day Saturday, and it looks as though that's going to set the stage for Sunday and Monday's weather, which should be nothing short of beautiful. And then Tuesday, we start to warm back up again. That should result in a thunderstorm by Wednesday.
Children and their parents had a good reason to visit Syracuse's Everson Museum tonight. The fourth graders from North Syracuse's Allen Road Elementary School have watercolors on display in an exhibit called New York State Flora and Fauna. The art teacher says the project combines art, social studies, and science because the kids had to research animal and plants native to New York State for their paintings. Coming up in sports tonight, the Yankees get some good news regarding Roger Clemens. Stephen Foddy will have that story. Also ahead, one local city finds a new way to sell abandoned properties. We'll show you how well it's working.
From WSYR-TV, this is News Channel 9.
Bob Barker taped his very last episode of The Price is Right today, ending a 50-year career in television, the past 35 as host of the famous game show. Fans were lined up since last night, hoping for a seat in the audience and the chance to come on down. The show taped today airs next Friday. CBS has auditioned several prospective replacements, but there's been no decision yet. The city of Rome is getting into the real estate business online, taking old foreclosed homes and putting them up on eBay to find suitable buyers. The city's only listed one home so far, but as Kim Brown explains tonight, it likely won't be the last.
If you notice, those columns are all intact, straight. They're not, they need renovation, but they add to it.
Donna Piekarski sees a lot of potential in 211 West Embargo Street. The home was built in 1850 and even housed two of the city's mayors.
Each room has a fireplace, like a marble or granite. The molding's still there. A lot of things are still there, from the original building.
It's been empty for a couple years since it went into foreclosure, and the city tried selling it the conventional way, but when that didn't work, they turned to eBay.
We were surprised, how popular it was and the hits. You get all excited when you keep seeing the numbers go up. So once this is done, we'll probably go on to another one and see how that goes.
Now, the city didn't start selling the houses themselves. They started about a year ago selling smaller things, the things people left behind when the city took over their property. And they've also sold things like old traffic signs, old police cars, and even these fire hoses. They've sold 60 of them so far, and at $10 each, that's a lot of money.
And we've made several thousands of dollars that way, and it's been a success.
Back to the home on the auction block, its asking price is only $1. So instead of going to the highest bidder, it'll go to the buyer who comes up with the best plan for fixing it up.
We care so much about our city, and that's why they've developed this rehabilitation plan, because it has to be good for the community. A stranger will buy the property, and we will do a background check on that and see what their intentions are. And if the Real Property Committee approves of it, then hopefully we'll have a nice property on the tax rolls.
And a nicer looking property lining West Embargo Street. In Rome, Kim Brown, News Channel 9.
Now, the city's Real Property Committee is working now to find a buyer for the home from a pool they've narrowed down to less than 10 people. Over the last year, the city of Rome made $50,000 selling items online. Right now, a look at tonight's winning lottery numbers. The evening numbers 229, the evening win 4 combination 5080. The take 5 numbers 6, 8, 12, 23, and 32. In the lotto game 1, 5, 7, 19, 21, 55. Bonus number 42, extra number 12.
In sports tonight, the state softball regionals in Cicero take center stage. Well, our two local softball teams had their work cut out for them today. One had to face the two-time defending state champs. The other had to face a star pitcher who's headed to Syracuse in the fall. Let's begin in Class AA. Liverpool taking on Shenendehowa. The Lady Plainsmen led by Orange recruit Angie Sagnelli. Third inning, Warriors down 1-0. Nicole Lamison smacks one into the left center field gap. That scores Anna Penzetta to tie the game at 1. Fifth inning, Barb Shea, the RBI single for Shenenda Hoa that plates the go-ahead run. The Plainsmen feeling pretty good, up by a run late in the game, but Liverpool refuses to go down without a fight. Callan Howard in the 6th drives a line drive to right center. That scores the tying run. Howard ends up on second. Game goes into extra innings. Bottom 8, Ashley DiAugustino gets the bloop single to drop. Liverpool falls in a tough one, 3-2 in the state regionals.
They were devastated. I mean, they truly believed that we were going to win this tournament, and that was our whole thing from the start of the season. Not a lot of people gave us a chance, I think, to get to this point. But I know our kids believe that. They believe that we're going to get here. They set their goals to win the state championship.
Liverpool closes out the season 21-7. On to Class A, Salve running into the reigning champs from Susquehanna Valley. Third inning, Chelsea West rips an RBI single, plates a run. SV takes a 6-0 lead. Same inning, Becca Wiggins drives in another. The Sabres showing why they're the defending champs. They win big, 14-0. The state lacrosse tournament continues tomorrow with the boys semis in Rochester. JD takes on Geneva at 3:30. West Genesee faces off with a Rondecoit at 8. Our coverage from St. John Fisher College begins at 6 o'clock. Well, Jason Giambi has been asked by Baseball Commissioner Bud Selig to speak with George Mitchell within the next 2 weeks. If he does, Giambi would become the first active player to cooperate with the steroids investigator. Selig is yet to discipline the Yankees first baseman for his recent comments about steroids in baseball. Giambi is certainly available for the meeting. He's currently on the disabled list. Meanwhile, the rest of his teammates continuing their series in Chicago. Joe Torre's Yankees making it 2 straight against the White Sox. Third inning, Alex Rodriguez coming through with a bases-loaded single. It scores 2. A-Rod, though, thrown out trying to stretch it into a double, but it didn't much matter. Chin-Ming Wong tosses a complete Game 5 hitter. He was brilliant tonight. The Bombers go on to beat Chicago by a final of 5-1. And it looks like the Rocket will be ready to go on Saturday. Roger Clemens threw 62 pitches down at the Yankees training facility in Florida today. He says everything went well and does expect to be on the mound this weekend against the Pirates for his 2007 Major League debut. National League action from tonight. Mets trying to avoid their 3rd straight loss. Bottom 4, Ruben Gotay lifts one to right. Carlos Delgado tags at third. He's going to test out the arm of Shane Victorino. Bad idea. Delgado gunned down at the plate. Mets unable to add to that lead. Top 7, 2 outs, 2 on for Jimmy Rollins, and the little guy smacks one out. Just like that, the Phils take a 3-2 lead. Bottom 8, 4-2 now. Endy Chavez with the bases loaded, 1 out, but Chavez grounds into the double play, pulls his hamstring in the process. The Mets lose 4-2. They may lose Chavez for a while as well. He'll have an MRI tomorrow. Down to the minors, Chiefs fall in Toledo for the 2nd straight night. The Mud Hens broke the game open with a 6th-run 8th, 9-2 the final. Syracuse now 3 games below 500. Well, the NHL season came to a close tonight. The Anaheim Ducks are your new Stanley Cup champions. Former Colgate star Andy McDonald tallied the first goal of the game. He also added an assist as Anaheim wins Game 5 6-2. The Ducks take the series from Ottawa 4-1, claiming their first title in franchise history. And finally tonight, Perry Patterson's stay with the Philadelphia Eagles was a short one, very short. The former SU quarterback, who also tried out for the Bills, was cut less than a day after signing with the team as a free agent. The Eagles needed his roster spot for a tight end following an injury in practice. Cleveland and Atlanta have also expressed interest, so all it takes is one team to give him a shot. He's going to keep on trying.
Maybe he can catch on. Good luck to Perry Patterson. All right, thank you, Steve. That's our report tonight. ABC News Nightline is next. If you're up early, don't forget the morning news beginning at 5 a.m. Thank you for joining us tonight, and good night, everybody.